G'day, welcome back to Rip's Garage. While we've got the guard off, we're just finishing off the rust repairs on the doors. You can see that the wiring here is a bit of a mess and it's all pretty old and nasty. The engine bay is pretty cramped as well, so what we're going to do is try and tidy it up by moving all this wiring inside the guard, sort of hiding it so that we can have a nice clean engine bay. There is a bit of space under here, just sort of above the apron. So we're going to get anything that needs to be waterproofed in a box under there, and the rest of the wiring we'll tack up under here where it's far away from the wheel, nice and safe, and it can go into the cabin over here somewhere. So you can see there is a lot of wiring, and it is quite messy and dirty. Some of this old stuff's so old and frail that it just crumbles away like that, so we've got to be careful. The wires underneath should be alright, but if they need to be replaced, we'll replace them. You can see that it's got an MSD box, and it's also got an what's this? UpToSpark 400. So that's an optical wheel that goes into the dizzy and replaces the points. I don't think that they make these anymore. I think they're pretty old, but it still works. And apparently they're relatively good in that they don't break down very often. So if it doesn't need replacing, we'll keep it. But when we pull it apart, we'll have a look and see if we need to swap it out with anything. Then underneath that, you've got the relays. There's a bunch of relays in there. And on this side, the battery's been moved to the boot, so that's the airbox. We've got a bunch of other electricals here, fuse connections. That looks like it was for a stereo. Stereo's long gone, so I might just get rid of that. All this other stuff's for the fuel injection. Was labelled once in the past. Hard to tell, but they're all fuses. Another fuse, so we'll tuck all those up under this guard here. And a couple of relays you got over here. So we'll see what's what. We'll get some grommets, we'll drill some holes, and we'll tidy all that up. Hopefully it'll look a lot better when the wiring's hidden. Something I've just noticed is the quality of the ground wires. You can see that's just bare wire. Another one there. And they were just sort of stuck underneath the screw. The paint hasn't even been stripped back or anything. Screw was all rusty, so they really wouldn't have been working very well as earths. So what I'm going to do before I continue is go around and take photos of where all the connections go, because it is a bit of a mess. This thing's actually been glued down, and that way when we go to rewire it, it should help us a bit. You can see there's all sorts of just random wires. Earth wire, probably for a stereo, I'd say, judging by the type of cable they've used. You've got red wires that are just joined like that halfway through, random wires sticking out of the loom everywhere. There did used to be an alarm, and I know that's part of the alarm system, but it no longer has an alarm, so there'll probably be a lot of redundant stuff that we don't need anymore, and we'll try and fix things like this up. Loops in wires and just random wires tacked on the ends. That's probably part of the fuel injection manifold, fuel injection loom. See, it's sort of been done semi-professionally, but this other stuff isn't. So yeah, take some pictures and then we'll keep going. here I'm just trying to undo all these sort of clips that hold the wires in place. So the loom goes all over the place, and those little clips, another one down here, just holds the wires from moving around and hitting anything hot or spinning. But there are a lot of them, and there's also this wire here, which is coming down there, and I believe that's for the horn. That there is the horn, and I believe I just need to unplug that, and that should be this side done once I can get the UpToSpark off. I'll pop the Dizzy cap off and take a picture and see what it looks like in there, and then we can move further up, unjumble that mess, and keep going. Thursday working on cars. That's a wheat stout. Perfect. To give you a better idea of what I'm doing, there's two bolts down here that hold this side of the, I guess you'd call it a relay box. It's not a fuse box because it doesn't really have any fuses in it, but it holds all the relays, and they need to be kept relatively dry, so we might build a box for them or just put them somewhere a bit out of the weather. So there are two on that side, and there was one just there as well. So now this box, there might be another one holding it in. Nope, just needed a bit of brute force. Alright, so what I'd like to do now is unglue this from that so that I can get these wires out of the way, and then I should be able to pull this box out. So I'll set you aside and we'll try and do that. Alright. As you can see, there's one wire, a white one, coming in, but it's actually got three wires inside it. So we'll pull the rotor cap off. Doesn't want to come off. There we go. Alright, what can we see? Not much. So this is the UpToSpark system. Sorry about that, you were out of focus. And each time it goes around, so 4-cylinder car, it's got 4 slots, 1, 2, 3, 4. Each time it goes around, this thing picks up the slot, sends a signal, and that's how you get your spark. So you can still use the timing advance of the distributor. So you've got vacuum advance, and you set it up the same way you would a normal distributor. This just replaces the points, so it's a bit of a maintenance-free thing. Now, I reckon if I get a screwdriver, sorry about that, on here and pull that off, we should be able to take this whole assembly with the wire right out. So I've pulled that off. It's no longer stuck in there, attached to the wheel. But I'm having trouble with this here. That's supposed to be a bit of a grommet that lets the wire pass through the body of the distributor. But it should be sort of soft rubber and it's completely rigid, so I think it's actually gone hard over time. See if I can pry it up. What do you reckon? Might have to get some pliers onto that. There we go. Look at that. How crusty is that? Alright, so that's the that's the UpToSpark system. The disc spins between those two pickups and sends a signal down the wire. Simple as. And it looks like these nuts are all just for spacing, to give it the right amount of spacing so that the disc sits halfway between the two sensors. This is it here. It goes down there and it sort of disappears under the brake booster. I'll grab a torch and see if we can help me find it. That's it there. That one there, it just sort of heads off up that way. Give me a sec.